advice here.
Imagine a world with an average temperature of 11 degrees higher than it is right now. The International Energy Agency, or the IEA, states that suggests that this is the new reality. Almost everybody in the United States owns a car or utilizes public transportation, and all of these things use fossil fuels. Let's discuss the current energy situation. Our oil reserves, according to the CIA World Factbook, we use about 11 billion tons of oil a year, and we're depleting these reservoirs at about 4 billion tons a year. At this rate, the reserves should be empty by about 2052. Gas reserves, on the other hand, are slightly larger in supply, and they suggest that it'll last about 8 years longer to 2060. With the Paris Agreement and the carbon budget, it used to be how much longer are the fossil fuels going to be around, but now it's how much fossil fuels can we burn before we reach the 2 degrees Celsius mark as stated in the Paris Agreement. The IEA states that no more than 1/3 of all the fossil fuels used prior to 2050 could be burned in order to achieve the 2 degrees Celsius goal. So possible solutions for this are growing renewable energy sources. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory states that renewable energy is infinite and produces no carbon emissions. Some renewable energy sources include solar power, hydroelectric, wind power, and geothermal. British Petroleum states that only 8% of the world's energy comes from renewable energies, and we must increase this in order to satisfy the Paris Agreement. Carbon capture and storage, or CCS, states that it has the potential to capture about 90% of CO2 emissions from fossil fuels used to generate electricity. The Carbon Capture and Storage Association states that the technology could contribute to 19% reduction in global emissions by 2050. They also suggest that fighting climate change could cost over 70% more without carbon capture and storage. So with carbon capture and storage, it captures the CO2 and turns it into a liquid form, and it either travels through pipelines or through boats, and then it's transferred through pipelines down to the ground into geological storage sites where it doesn't affect the climate as much. So what would happen if the world implements these measures? We can reduce the carbon emissions with increased renewable energy, because renewable energies do not emit any carbon. Climate change, however, would continue even if emissions completely stopped today. Richard Root, a professor at the University of Michigan, states that there is a 40-year lag where the environment catches up to the CO2 that's in the environment right now. He states that the lag is caused by the time required to heat up the ocean. And after those 40 years, the ocean would reach a stable temperature, but would still continue to heat the Earth. Carbon capture and storage and similar technologies could help reduce this lag by reducing the atmospheric carbon. So let's review what we've discussed today. So we've discussed that there's a serious environmental issue, and we've discussed the current situation and some possible solutions for it. I hope that this presentation will help you think about the future of our planet and some things that you could do to help increase its lifespan. Some things that you could do is buying an electric car or installing solar panels on your house. Or you could also invest in renewable energy companies. With the help of everybody in the world, we could halt the climate change and begin to reverse its disastrous effects.